Alright everybody, welcome to another Battle Tanks League commentary video with me, Eric. Let's start out with Buchanator91. He's a relatively new League player, and he randomed a distributor, got a basic magic on it, and yes, pikabar, my mic is on. He got the basic magic on it, and he used control point teleport to teleport into the middle. He's a new player, so he probably doesn't know that most of the time as a distributor you actually want to walk into the middle, and you can even buy a tech mech at the start of the game and walk into the middle. You forego buying a weapon. You can always get a darkness spheres, but if you want the basic magic, you just buy the tech mech, wait until your force starts generating gold, and then buy the basic magic with the tech mech, walk it into the middle, and put it on your distributor as the distributor arrives into the middle. That will save you a little bit of gold, as we see Gudgeon get a kill on majstorIgre, along with Nagurok. And it looked like this Dark Force had 4 players in the middle, so it looks like they're a little bit confused as to who's going to go where, but I think they're sorted out now. So we do have majstorIgre getting a distributor and a basic magic. It looks like Buchanator's going to go elsewhere. He's going to go up to the top, and he's going to face against Hellcat, so I think that's a little bit of a mismatch. Buchanator's a bit of a new player. He has pretty good game mechanics from what I've seen so far, but he's still a little bit inexperienced in this current meta, so Hellcat should win this matchup. He is in a helicopter with a light cannon that he's already upgraded. He has a severe DPS advantage and mobility advantage over Buchanator, and so he can take advantage of this strategic location, hop in and out of it to maintain the control over this position, and try to push his creep waves into Buchanator's force rocket tower. So in the middle, like I said, we did have majstorIgre with the distributor, the basic magic, accompanying him as enemy, and a raider with a basic magic, and Matslia, who's in a helicopter with a bombard rockets. EMZE is on the light force in a scout with the bombard rockets. Nagurok is in a helicopter with the bombard rockets as well. They're trying to get triple rockets off on Matslia. Matslia doing a good job of positioning himself far enough away that he can hit them back with the bombard rockets and not take too much damage. And then we have Gudgeon, who is in a helicopter with a fireball cannon. So we've got 2 players on this light force with 1300 range, and we have a distributor on the other team. So if I were these 3 players, I would probably not stick too hard with the 1300 range. Perhaps this helicopter could get a second bombard rockets, but EMZE scout, if he doesn't want to change tank soon, he should probably get something like an electro cannon, or perhaps a fireball cannon or light cannon if he can't afford that, rather than a second bombard rockets. If too many of them get bombard rockets, especially against the distributor and a raider, which are pretty hardy, they will have a disadvantage when it comes to straight up fights. And then meanwhile on the bottom we have pikabar and a distributor playing against WildPants, who is in a light tank with 2 basic magics. WildPants has now upgraded both of those basic magics. He will try to save for a hole. He uses a triple rockets on pikabar. He is level 4 before pikabar is level 4, likely due to his farming advantage as the light tank. Pikabar has 1 basic magic that he has upgraded already. And WildPants is trying to hold this offensive strategic location. He can use it, he can claim this healer every once in a while when it pops up, and he can push his creep waves into pikabar's force tower. You just see that force tower get a kill on that commander, and it might steal that zeppelin as well. So 2 kills that pikabar doesn't get. I'll have to double check the formula. I thought it was that 60% of the gold that the force earns is distributed to the players. I think it's actually only 33%. So it's really bad if the force, that rocket tower just got a kill on a glaive thrower. It's really bad if the force is getting creep kills and you're not getting creep kills. Not only are you going to get behind in experience, you can see WildPants is about 3/4 of a level ahead of pikabar, trying to be aggressive against him again. Can he get the kill? Pikabar does have a reactive armor, maybe. Maybe he didn't get the reactive armor. Maybe he tried to get the heat-seeking missiles level 2. I didn't see him use any reactive armor. WildPants almost got the kill on him. What was I saying? If you're not killing the creeps, you will be at a farming you will be at an experience disadvantage. WildPants already reaching level 5, while pikabar is only level 4.2, 4.3. But you will also lose gold, not only in your own matchup, but your team overall loses gold. I think only 33%, maybe it's 60% of the gold that the Force earns is actually distributed among the players. And so the same goes for Buchanator against Hellcat. Hellcat is now level 5.2 against Buchanator's 4.1, and that is because Hellcat has been pushing Buchanator's tower. He has been pushing his creep waves into the rocket tower of Buchanator. You can see that rocket tower maybe get a kill. We saw those 2 Marines steal a kill, and then that rocket tower does steal a Zeppelin. It's 5 minutes into the game. Let's see if anybody gets any weapons. Level 2 triple rocket hitting Matslia. Matslia does survive. He did have to flee long ways though. Nagurok himself is a little bit vulnerable. He doesn't have that many hit points, and the heat-seeking missiles aren't even needed. A little bit of a redundancy there, but Nagurok was doomed. He was well out of position. EMZE has enough to buy a second bombard rockets if he wanted to. If I were him, I would probably save up for perhaps an electro cannon instead. We see Gudgeon get a hull. He has already upgraded his fireball cannon, so he has been farming a decent amount. And then Nagurok has very little gold so far. Only 800 saved up, and he just has the bombard rockets upgrade. Looks like Pikabar just got a kill on WildPants. We can see he's bought a second basic magic, and he also has his tech mech along. That tech mech did take some damage in that fight, so I wonder if Pikabar purposefully used it to absorb some of WildPants' volleys and get the upper hand in that fight. We see Matslia get a kill on Nagurok again. Nagurok dying a 3rd time already. And then enemy has to be a little bit careful there. He almost dies just to the creeps, and now majstorIgre is taking bombard volleys from EMZE. EMZE, he is able to flee behind enough creeps that EMZE isn't able to pursue. But both of them playing with fire right there. Buchanator gets a second basic magic. He is using his tech mech to try to repair this rocket tower. However, that tech mech has already taken a lot of damage. Let's see if Hellcat can get the kill on it. Hellcat uses a triple rocket on it. That tech mech only has 60 hit points, so somebody, perhaps Pikabar's own tech mech is quite vulnerable. Somebody in this middle needs to go help out Buchanator and help him repair his own mech so that he can hold this position. What they don't want is for Hellcat to already be pushing this tower 7 minutes into the game, and they have to start splitting their attention and using control point teleports, which early in the game are actually kind of expensive relatively. Pikabar's own mech is a little bit vulnerable. He is using it to repair his tower. Now that he has 2 basic magics, he should be able to hold his own in the strategic location position against WildPants. WildPants has 1600 gold saved up, so usually you get the hull at this point. Maybe he's just waiting for a good opportunity to get a hull, or he might be saving up for a tank, I'm not sure. Matslia comes into the top to help Buchanator leave his own tower. Buchanator's tech mech is still quite vulnerable. Pikabar and Buchanator could repair each other's tech mechs while Matslia is buying them time. Maybe they leave Matslia at the top? Buchanator's going to go into the middle, so let's see how Matslia holds in this lane with a bombard rockets upgrade against Hellcat, who has repair robots, which is an excellent counter to the bombard rockets upgrade. And now he is going to get a light cannon and a basic magic, so he has a DPS advantage, and he's pretty resistant to the stray bombard shot. You can see Matslia hit him with one, and he just regenerated it in about 4 seconds. Happened again. So I don't think that was the play. Matslia is definitely not the guy with the build you want facing up against Hellcat, and Matslia is probably going to die here. Hellcat is much stronger in that straight up fight. He does get the kill on Matslia, and now he's going to go to work trying to finish off this tower. Nobody is in position to respond. In fact, Hellcat could maybe build and get a kill there. Pikabar is a little bit close, but he is vulnerable. This middle now taking damage. Buchanator takes a combination of abilities and dies pretty quickly. Gudgeon with the finishing blow there. And then EMZE is saving up a lot of gold. Maybe he'll get an energy torpedo on that scout. That energy torpedo is decent. It's good to pair with the scout because it makes the scout more dangerous. The scout otherwise doesn't really have any aggressive abilities that it can use against enemy tanks. And we see he does indeed get the energy torpedo. Energy torpedo not the best choice in my opinion against 2 distributors. I think an electro cannon would be a little bit more of a versatile weapon. But let's see how it works out for him. Gudgeon stepping way out of position, taking a bunch of heat-seeking missiles there. I wonder if that was almost a misclick because that was just so wildly misplayed by him. And they're going to switch Pikabar to the top lane to hold against Hellcat. probably a wise move. That way they won't have to worry about people needing to teleport back and forth. And now Hellcat's actually a little bit in trouble. That repair robots, while it has earned him the tower kill in the swap with pikabar, that repair robots doesn't scale as well into the mid game. And so we have Matslia on this bottom lane against WildPants. Matslia's Bombard Rockets upgrade, once again, isn't the best weapon to use on the lane. The exception is if you are a scout and you have the DPS of the creep cannon to make up for the lack of DPS of the 1300 range weapon. The WildPants does of course have his E ability, which he can use to periodically repair himself, especially with that hole, and so it's not as good as a repair robot's, but it does allow him to hold position even against long range. We just saw majstorIgre get another kill on Gudgeon, and then enemy comes in with a storm tank. There are 2 air tanks and 1 scout on this light force here. There's also Hellcat with a scout if enemy needed to hop in a pinch. Pikabar should hold his own against Hellcat, however. Enemy placing a mine in a relatively conservative position, though Gudgeon has been playing quite aggressively. Let's see if they can draw either Gudgeon or Nagurok into one of these mines. And this is actually kind of an interesting dynamic on the top. While Hellcat did earn maybe 300 gold from the tower, Pikabar can actually pretty safely farm creeps from this position. He doesn't need to worry about a tower taking his kills, and yeah, he can pretty much just relax for now. It's going to be kind of a boring matchup against Hellcat. Neither of them have the capability to be really aggressive against each other, and Pikabar might just camp here. So let's focus more on what's going on in this middle. Let's see if anybody runs into these mines. Buchanator's a little bit vulnerable. I was going to say maybe Nagurok will try to pursue the kill. He's close to running into one of enemy's mines right here. And enemy can probably afford to place these mines a little bit more offensively. They have 2 distributors and a storm tank, and so they should be able to push this team of 2 helicopters and a scout. EMZE getting a hole on that scout now. You can see EMZE has been placing some manual healers with that scout to help himself out and those allies. This Dark Force also has to be careful about taking even these automatically spawned healers, because there's a chance that EMZE could have put the healing ward on them, which will cause them to lose health rather than gain health. Matslia has bought a second basic magic with that helicopter. He is relatively low on hit points. WildPants has bought a light cannon. Looks like Buchanator gets a kill on Gudgeon, and I don't see that any of enemy's mines have gone off, so it looks like that was just a straight up kill, no mines needed, and enemy will probably start placing these mines at this far strategic location. Matslia gets a kill on WildPants, excellently played. He almost has enough to buy a hole now. He does have the tech mech that can bring it to him, and he is going to use that tech mech to buy a hole. So Matslia doing decently in the lane so far. And a couple of mines are going to go off on Nagurok, as well as several heat-seeking missiles, and the mine is able to get the finishing blow. However, majstorIgre does take a triple rocket shot from Gudgeon and he does die to that. WildPants gets a return kill on Matslia. Uh-oh, Matslia has dropped his iron hole. So maybe he rallied his tech mech into the middle, didn't actually put it on his tank, and that's what caused him to lose the fight. Oh no, that's WildPants' iron hole, never mind. WildPants probably dropped that iron hole to use his healing ability. That healing ability heals a fixed amount of hit points. Gudgeon's going to take a mine and he's going to die instantly. The light tank healing ability, the hotkey E ability, it heals the light tank for a fixed amount of hit points that's based on the tank's maximum hit points. And so if you have a hole, what you can do is start channeling the E ability, drop your hole, and you'll continue regenerating at the same rate that you did, absolutely, that you did before the hole was dropped. But that will allow you to regenerate hit points as a percentage more quickly, and then you just pick up the hole after the spell is done channeling. WildPants is going to use a triple rocket on Matslia, put pressure on him. WildPants is a little bit vulnerable. Can Matslia get a triple rocket off? He does, and Matslia barely able to get the kill on WildPants there. You see Pikabar still camping. He's trying to bait Hellcat into building a rocket tower. Let's see if Hellcat goes for it. This middle is a little bit too far forward, so now it's Hellcat's chance if he wants to. Matslia is also far forward. This middle is pulling back, so Hellcat, his window of opportunity is passed. There was a chance there where he may have been able to do it. Pikabar definitely wants him to do it. I think Pikabar wants him to, because that rocket tower does cost 600 gold, and it would give 300 gold bounty to the Dark Force. So unless this Dark Force middle and bottom lane were egregiously out of position, which they almost were, it's probably not a good idea for Hellcat to push Pikabar with the tower in that manner. Both of these players are probably just going to play the boring game of saving up for a mid-game tank and seeing who can help out the other lanes in the game more. WildPants is saving up a lot of gold. He is taking some pressure from Matslia. Matslia taking a triple rocket shot. I think he can kill WildPants right now if he gets enough volleys off. Matslia gets another kill. So Matslia doesn't have nearly as much gold saved up, but he is holding his own against WildPants pretty decently. WildPants could perhaps get a repair kit, which would allow him to put pressure on this position and win fights against Matslia more frequently. Leash is attempted on Nagurok, as well as a couple of heat-seeking missiles. Nagurok does flee out of the way. Buchanator is saving up a lot of gold with just 2 basic magics, so we'll see if he gets a tank at 20 minutes. And then enemy is buying back his weapons. He doesn't have that much yet. And then majstorIgre has a lot of DPS for no hull. However, he is able to play relatively defensively with this distributor. He puts the reactive armor on enemy to help save him. And then enemy actually gets a kill on Gudgeon with a mine as Gudgeon was fleeing. And here comes Hellcat pushing Pikabar. Pikabar using the heat-seeking missiles. Hellcat uses a repair kit. Can Hellcat get the kill? He does, finally, with the fire ability. So that's a favorable exchange for the Light Force. Even though Hellcat had slightly higher bounty, 2 Dark Force tanks teleported in, and that's 150 gold per teleport. So that exchange definitely favored the Light Force by maybe 200 gold. Buchanator using a reflective armor on WildPants just in case, or majstorIgre just in case. And then enemy's going to go to the middle. Pikabar probably just telling him he's content with camping here for now. Pikabar does have a repair kit of his own now, so that Hellcat can't push him with the repair again. Hooker goes on Nagurok, or Leash does. He takes a couple of mine shots, taking some of the air cannon from the storm tank. And then Gudgeon himself is a little bit vulnerable. That air cannon does deal a lot of damage. And I think this team needs some mines to go off. Wonder if any of this Light Force is saving for a tank. EMZE has a modest amount of gold. Probably should have a little bit more as a scout by now. 17 minutes. Though he does have the energy torpedo unupgraded. Nagurok has 1400 gold, not that much of an inventory. Nobody has a kinetic shield here. Gudgeon has a lot of gold saved up. He hasn't upgraded neither his Iron Hole nor his Fireball Cannon, so these tanks don't really have the most valuable of inventories. Buchanator has a lot more gold saved up, and majstorIgre has a decent amount saved up in stealth. Enemy, of course, can stick with this storm tank for a while. We see Hellcat enter Pikabar's command post at the top. Both of them still have their repairs, and Hellcat, of course, has that repair robots, which will allow him to regenerate slowly in a fight. He does have to be cautious about how he approaches Pikabar in a straight 1v1 fight. Pikabar might try to ward him off a little bit. It gets an opportunity to get a heat-seeking missile off. Hellcat is able to flee behind some Marines, and the heat-seeking missile hits the Marines. Hellcat does have to be a little bit careful because Pikabar, if he times his reactive armor well, he can heal the 540 damage. Hellcat builds a tower. The Dark Force is in position. However, Gudgeon and Nagurok are coming in from the side on this Light Force. They're going to get a quick kill on enemy, maybe, along with Hellcat. Enemy uses a repair kit, excellently timed by him. They're going to hold off this attack. They get a kill on Nagurok, they get a kill on Gudgeon, and they might kill Hellcat as well. Hellcat loses his tower. He isn't able to get any kills out of this. This was an excellent response by the Dark Force here. Matslia is coming in. Does he have a triple rockets in him for the finishing blow? Hellcat gets leashed. Matslia is dealing some DPS. Enemy with the air cannon, not quite able to finish him off, and now enemy's got to be a little bit careful. Mine goes off on Nagurok, so definitely a favorable exchange for the Dark Force there, or for the Dark Force. Hellcat finally got baited into building a tower, and I thought that was a good idea for that attack to come from the side as well from the middle, but this Dark Force middle did a good job of seeing that the Light Force was trying to attack that top command post. They were ready to respond in time, and they got a couple of kills and a tower kill over in that exchange. Hellcat is on the wrong side of Pikabar right now. Pikabar uses his reactive armor to heal up, and he does survive Hellcat. Hellcat dies once again, playing a little bit too greedy. Pikabar is very content to just play the boring camping game, and Hellcat is getting happy feet. He's getting a little bit impatient right now. Yeah, WildPants telling Hellcat, just stop pushing the lane, man. majstorIgre and Buchanator gets a Goblin Shredder, and he gets an Ice Cannon on that Goblin Shredder. That's not going to be the most useful until he's level 10. He's at level 9.4 right now. Quick Goblin Shredder. Actually, 20 minutes isn't the quickest Goblin Shredder, and he should be level 10 by now, but interesting tank choice. This Light Force, if they can weather out the power spike of Buchanators, well, not if they do that, not if Gudgeon's stepping way out of position, and so if EMZE, and now Nagurok gets killed. I was going to say, had they been playing a little bit better than what you just saw in that exchange, and they could weather out the power spike that both enemy and Buchanator have at level 10, and they can save all the way up to tier 3 tanks, they will have a massive advantage in the mid game. Shredder is a good tank in some situations. It's usually better if you get it in the side lane and try to get ganks in the middle. Gudgeon has a heavy tank. He might be aiming for Buchanator. Not yet. So Gudgeon does have a heavy tank, so they will be able to hold off likely this power spike from this Light Force here. And enemy's going to come in and leash Hellcat. Hellcat does use a repair, but they do have a lot of DPS. A couple of heat-seeking missiles from Pikabar, and can the air cannon finish him off? One volley away, another volley away. He is using that repair robots, which he's upgraded to absorb that damage of the tank cannon. Enemy is unable to finish him off. Buchanator is now level 10, majstorIgre is level 10, enemy is almost level 10. And EMZE comes out with a guard. Guard works pretty decently with 1300 range. It's also, when rooted, immune to the Shredder's level 10 ability. They are able to root Buchanator and stun him with the aiming rocket of the heavy tank. And now they kill on majstorIgre as well. And this is going to leave Nagurok free to save up for a tier 3 tank. Hunter would work excellently with these tanks. Darkness tank wouldn't be a bad option either. You have 2 stuns already. Goblin Brawler would also be decent, because you have the stun of EMZE and you have the stun of Gudgeon, so Brawler can follow up with the R ability. Brawler also works pretty well on Goblin Shredders, which like to run around a lot. majstorIgre gets a guard of his own. He does have probably a more well-spec'd inventory than EMZE does. However, he has already used 2 inventory slots. You see him use the Entangling Roots on Nagurok, and then Buchanator gets an excellent unit teleport on Gudgeon. Buchanator does die in return, but now EMZE's a little bit vulnerable himself. majstorIgre does have that lower range, and so he can focus EMZE a little bit better without his Bombard Rocket or Energy Torpedo hitting a lot of creeps as targets. EMZE is probably going to die here. He's trying to stall as much as possible with the roots, and Nagurok's got to be a little bit careful. He gets leashed himself, and he is killed. The Dark Force getting a lot of mileage out of these tanks already. I was going to say, the root of the guard does double damage to air tanks, but it cannot stun them. Can Buchanator get another pull on Gudgeon? That unit teleport does deal some damage. Buchanator, that was, I think, a missed kill. I think it should have been off cooldown. Missed kill for the Dark Force there, but they did get the better of that exchange overall. Hellcat with a lot of gold put into this helicopter. Pikabar has about 2,000 more gold saved up. Neither of them are especially wealthy so far. They've both been playing pretty passively. Pikabar is daring Hellcat to buy a laser tower that costs 2,000. Enemy's going to come in and leash him. Hellcat does, of course, have the repair robot's upgrade. However, he has a mine trailing him. I think Hellcat might have a repair, so enemy doesn't try to pursue that kill, doesn't waste his time with it. Gudgeon's going to stun majstorIgre, and majstorIgre also gets rooted by EMZE. He's a little bit vulnerable, gets roots off on Gudgeon, and then Pikabar comes in with some heat-seeking missiles to make it a 1v1 trade. Pikabar's got to be a little bit careful. He does have the repair kit, which he can use in time if he sees a torpedo volley approaching him. And then Matslia comes in with a second Goblin Shredder. We've got 2 Shredders on this Dark Force here. And then WildPants has a Sky Tank. So WildPants will be able to siege this base. In fact, they might just keep enemy here at this base. Matslia has to be careful lest he loses Tech Mech. I think now that this Light Force is starting to get ground tanks, I think it might be best to have enemy go to this bottom lane, and then pikabar can continue to play in the top lane. A goblin tank, which is pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever seen pikabar play this tank. He uses a nets. That nets does make Hellcat susceptible to ground-only abilities. Pikabar wasn't able to get the hammer off in time. I think that was because enemy was actually leashing Hellcat. They are able to get the kill anyway. But that goblin tank does have a very powerful hammer ability that stuns and deals damage to a ground opponent. It can work on an air tank if that air tank is netted. Matslia does have that goblin shredder, and like I said, I think WildPants wins that matchup 1v1, and WildPants can buy, or he can use Flame Strike against both this Tech Mech and this Rocket Tower. So I think enemy might be a little bit better off. That's pikabar. Where is enemy? Enemy might be better off playing on the side, as it is he's trying to still farm kills on Nagurok. Whose Iron Hole is this in here? Maybe it's Gudgeon's? I think it's Gudgeon's. Gudgeon's was saving up a lot of gold without upgrading the Iron Hole. I don't know whose it is though. EMZE gets a root on a couple of players, and then Gudgeon comes in with the Naming Rocket and Hail of Bombs. They were able to get the kill on majstorIgre. And I hope certainly that this isn't one of the Dark Force's Iron Holes, because that is a wild blunder. I've done that before where I've misrallied Tech Mech close to an enemy command post in the mid, and that Tech Mech died, losing about 600 gold, and it dropped an Iron Hole upgrade. I was able to get it back soon. WildPants is a little bit out of position on Matslia here. However, Matslia stays a little bit too long in the range of that Flame Strike from WildPants, and WildPants is able to get the kill. Hellcat's going to come into the bottom. Pikabar is going to teleport into the bottom as well. Does Pikabar have a net in him? Pikabar does. Can he get a net? He does use a net. Enemy is also present. Enemy is going to leash Hellcat. Pikabar gets stunned by Hellcat's triple rockets. They might actually have to flee out of this. WildPants' abilities are, fortunately for Pikabar, on cooldown. Matslia is going to come in. He does have speed and a poison magic on that Goblin Shredder, making it a little bit more useful. We see Nagurok. He has finally changed out of that helicopter into a hunter, so I think enemy will be better on this bottom lane. And maybe Matslia can come into the middle here, start pulling this heavy tank and the hunter. The 3 players and Pikabar team up to kill Gudgeon. Pikabar's Goblin Tank is also a good tank that can teleport into the middle. And does Pikabar have a net? He uses a net. Hellcat might die here. He has majstorIgre trailing him. He is able to stun Pikabar, and they are able to get the kill on Hellcat. Pikabar can also teleport into the middle with that Goblin Tank. Use nets on WildPants or Hellcat if Hellcat remains a helicopter. And they do move enemy to this bottom here. Enemy playing a little bit too aggressively against WildPants, who had more hit points, and WildPants is now 6-6 in terms of kills and deaths, despite I think he started out 1-5 or maybe even 1-6. So I think Matslia is better in the middle and keep enemy at the bottom. As it is right now, they have Buchanator facing against Hellcat. Buchanator has a lot of DPS again of his own, but Hellcat does have the repair robots and the repair kit. The repair kit is 3 seconds away. Can Hellcat survive? Buchanator gets the kill in time. So this Light Force does have 2 tanks that are much better at dealing damage to groups of enemies. All 3 of these tanks have abilities that can stun or damage groups of opponents, whereas this Dark Force has a lot more abilities that are good at ganking and catching individual opponents. And so I think if you're the Dark Force, I would focus a little bit less in the middle if possible and try to focus more on these side lanes. Create 2v1 situations with these Shredders. Buchanator pulls in Hellcat again. Hellcat does use his repair. Is it going to be enough? Buchanator needs maybe 2 more volleys of the Ice Cannon. Hellcat is able to finish him off with the Firebomb. And then Pikabar got a kill in the middle. Perhaps trying to use the hammer on Nagurok. Pikabar is a fast tank. Despite only having 1 level of speed, he has more nets. Enemy is going to leash WildPants. Pikabar is going to net WildPants. WildPants with an excellently timed teleport out of the way of Pikabar's net to save himself. Nagurok is kind of a poor hunter. Gudgeon misses his hail of bombs. Looks like somebody's going to get pulled. Pikabar gets stunned a couple of times and rooted. Excellent response. Matslia is still able to pull in Gudgeon and deal enough damage with that poison magic that they get a kill. Nagurok gets a shot with the main gun and is able to finish off Matslia. And now majstorIgre and EMZE are both battling it out. They're both very vulnerable. majstorIgre barely gets the kill on EMZE, and then Nagurok is able to use his Hunter Cannon to kill majstorIgre. The Buchanator on the top here. Does Gudgeon have a stun in him? Buchanator has only the level 1 speed. Gudgeon does have an aiming rocket to stun, and if WildPants has an energy bomb, he can finish off Buchanator. He uses the Flame Strike instead, which isn't able to quite get the kill. However, Pikabar comes in, and Gudgeon got 2 kills out of that. And now they might push this command post. Gudgeon, stay here. majstorIgre builds a tower, so they are able to at least get 2 kills and force a tower out. And then EMZE with an excellently aimed root on enemy, dealing double damage to enemy. Matslia comes in and hits WildPants with a unit teleport. WildPants teleports out of the way, and is that Hellcat in an airship? So he has changed from helicopter to airship. He remains vulnerable to nets and to enemy storm tank, however. And he is going to get netted by Pikabar. Pikabar just got stunned again. I think he got rooted. And Pikabar wasn't able to reach Hellcat with the hammer in time. He might need a teleporter. Of course, as soon as he gets a teleporter, Hellcat will respond with teleport breakers. Those nets haven't been as profitable for Pikabar as he was probably hoping. Those nets do cost 2,000 gold each. You have a couple of treants, a flame strike, and some damage going off on majstorIgre's tower. So majstorIgre had to spend gold on that tower, and it gives the Light Force bounty. Enemy's gonna come in. He's gonna leash Hellcat. Let's see if Matslia can reach Hellcat or WildPants with a unit teleport. Pikabar does, of course, have a net to follow up. They're fleeing too quickly. majstorIgre still in the middle with the guard. He could probably get an orbital strike soon. He has a decent amount of DPS as a guard. He doesn't need that much more for now. Matslia pulls in WildPants. WildPants does have that teleport if this fight does get out of hand, but Matslia makes a blunder there. He runs through the Flame Strike of WildPants. Takes a lot of damage that he didn't need to take. He probably shouldn't be taking that fight in the first place, but he definitely shouldn't run through that Flame Strike, and WildPants gets a kill. A couple of kills go off on the top. And enemy is going to try to get the kill on WildPants here. WildPants, once again, does have that teleport in a pinch. Enemy now has an artillery. I don't know if that's quite the best weapon in this game. There are 2 air tanks present, so if he's very careful about switching it to ground mode when he's playing it into the middle and to normal mode when he's on either of the lanes, it can work. He's going to teleport and leave WildPants with a free Flame Strike on Matslia's Tech-Mech. Matslia's Tech-Mech does die. Matslia probably noticing that now. He's going to teleport in. WildPants does have a teleport, even if they get a couple of unit teleports on him. Buchanator and Matslia kind of in no man's land right now, and meanwhile this middle is getting pushed. majstorIgre's a little bit vulnerable. Gravity Grenade from Nagurok completely misses. However, majstorIgre's Roots doesn't, and so Buchanator is able to get 2 kills. Nagurok at least gets 1 return kill. Now Gudgeon himself has a decent amount of DPS. He's been out buying a lot of kind of mid-budget weapons. Looks like WildPants came in from the side, killed Buchanator. He had the 2 fireball cannons initially as the heavy tank. I don't think these 2 electro cannons are the wisest of choices, because he has now filled up his inventory, and he either needs to not get any more DPS, he gets 1 kill, or not get any holes, and so these are kind of expensive weapons to have to leave in the junkyard, so kind of a suboptimal build order there from Gudgeon. I think instead of getting the electro cannon, He could have gotten a more powerful weapon like a fire torpedo, or maybe even just save it up for a frost magic, or maybe gotten the first electro cannon and then the second one be a fire torpedo. And then you get a hole, and then you start saving, you get a teleport, and then you start saving for an endgame tank. As of now, he's pretty much capped at 1110 DPS unless he wants to get another weapon and make himself really vulnerable. He does spawn some mortars. They're trying to push this rocket tower in the middle here. And these shredders are unable to respond very effectively right now. And pikabar hasn't been the most effective either. Pikabar still doesn't have a teleport. He does have a lot of speed. See if they can pull EMZE. Now's not the worst of times, and I think majstorIgre should have gotten an orbital strike instead of a gold hole. Matslia trying to kill WildPants. Does have that poison magic, and Matslia is one energy bomb away from dying. Can WildPants reach him in time? He does. And WildPants getting away with a lot of kills on Matslia. Matslia has not played the best in this mid game in that lane. Buchanator gets pull on EMZE. Can Nagurok hit anybody with a gravity grenade? They're able to get a kill on EMZE. Gudgeon hits majstorIgre with a hail of bombs. majstorIgre using that gold hold to survive. And now Buchanator gets killed by Gudgeon. Nagurok hits the main gun, but he was too close. And now WildPants barely unable to kill majstorIgre. Pikabar continuing to play the AFK sit and base game. Hellcat has a teleporter himself. We saw some life out of Pikabar there. He moved back and forth a little bit. Matslia has an extended repair kit. Let's see if he can use this to survive. Hellcat's going to come into the bottom. They're going to try to get the kill on the bottom tower real quick. Is Pikabar aware of this? He is. Trying to fake some teleports into the middle, or into this bottom lane here. He does get the pull, and then Hellcat dodges both the unit teleport and Pikabar's net. So a waste of a net there and a waste of a teleport. And this middle tower is gone. Buchanator taking a gravity grenade. They don't have an orbital strike to follow it up yet. Actually, Nagurok's wild from getting an orbital strike, and then meanwhile Gudgeon gets rooted. Gudgeon's going to die. Nagurok's main gun misses Buchanator, hits some creeps. Nagurok doesn't need to be farming creeps with Q right now. He has enough weapons. And EMZE gets rooted. EMZE is going to die. Buchanator is a little bit vulnerable. Should make sure he doesn't get gravity grenaded. WildPants is coming in from the side. Matslia is there to respond. Where's Pikabar? Sitting in this command post. Hellcat's up here. Let's see if Matslia can get a pull on Gudgeon. I don't think Gudgeon does have a teleport. They do have a defensive breaker. A couple of defensive breakers that were both placed at the same time. Whoops. majstorIgre gets gravity grenaded. He's going to get rooted as well. Gudgeon has to teleport out of the way before he can follow up with any more abilities. He barely survives. Hellcat pushing on Pikabar here at the bottom. Nagurok gets a kill in the middle. And majstorIgre might die as well. WildPants coming in from the side, and they might push this middle command post. Buchanator goes down, and they're going to get a build. Pikabar is there, and Matslia is there. Pikabar does he have a hammer in him to maybe kill EMZE right now? He and Matslia are trying to do their best to survive. Enemy is able to come in. This command post is 1 second away from dying, so majstorIgre is the last line of defense. They still have the build here, and they do get Buchanator in here. Buchanator is anybody else available, and they take this command post. Excellently played by the Light Force there. And they do have Gudgeon who can siege, and somebody's mech just died. I think it was Buchanator's, so 2 mechs down. Gudgeon can siege. Hellcat can of course get some troops. He is a pretty mobile tank. He can get an advanced troop command and siege as well. That would make him really annoying for these shredders and pikabar. Matslia taking a root and a gravity grenade. Does Nagurok have a main gun? Matslia uses the extended repair kit anyway. Buchanator is stepping a little bit too far forward. He doesn't have the support of his allies. And EMZE roots before Buchanator can pull him. Airmine goes off. Buchanator is going to capitalize on it by pulling in Nagurok, trying to use those ice cannons to focus Nagurok down. And Nagurok along with Gudgeon get a kill, and EMZE get a kill on Buchanator. Gudgeon calling for a pee break. He says 3 minutes. That's a long pee. So if you're the Dark Force, how do you win this? I think they were ahead in net worth for a little while, but I think the Light Force has more gold at this point. They have been getting more of the kills recently, and they do have a lot of gold they can earn by killing the rocket towers and begin sieging the base. And so if you're the Light Force, probably have either Gudgeon or Hellcat siege. Hellcat, because he is very mobile, but less capable in straight team fights. He's a little bit better off playing 1v1 or playing siege. Gudgeon, because he is a heavy tank and he has just some mortars natively as one of his heavy tank abilities. So either of them could siege. Hellcat would be my number one priority, but Gudgeon can do so. If he happens to be in the middle, he can take the opportunity to spawn some mortars. And if you're the Light Force, try to keep the fight in the middle so that you can siege. However, if you're the Dark Force, I think what you want to do is start pressuring the top or the bottom command post and force the Light Force to play away from the middle. The Light Force will earn a lot of gold if they're able to play in the middle and siege the base. However, if you're able to force them to either play at the top or the bottom, then now it becomes just a level playing field. I think the Light Force does have some better abilities in straight-up team fights, so the Dark Force does have to be careful of that. But I think if they're efficient at getting 3v2s, 2v1s, 4v3s, especially with those shredders and those goblin tanks, they can pull it off. But the Dark Force is in a little bit of a bad position right now. Also, keep in mind, I did look this up recently. If you take a command post, and the same is true if you destroy a factory, your Light Force will earn 4 times the amount of gold that the creeps that the control point or the factory would have spawned would have given the Light Force. And so right now you have 2 Marines, and let's say those 2 Marines give 20 bounty each. They spawn every 20 seconds. So that's, if they were to spawn, that's 40 gold every 20 seconds that anybody on the Dark Force could earn. However, or let's say the Dark Force had this, that anybody on the Light Force could earn. But now that the Light Force holds this command post, the Light Force every 20 seconds is going to earn 160 gold. And so that gold is going to be distributed out to the players every 5 minutes, and I think 1/3 of the gold is distributed to the players. And so if the Dark Force or the Light Force is earning 4 times the gold that they would have earned by killing the creeps, the players do get a net gold bonus out of that, and they don't have to worry about killing the enemy creeps. Their creep wave can push a little bit farther as well. Of course, the Dark Force at least gets the advantage that there are a couple of more creeps that can spawn. And so if players are able to kill these creeps, I think they might actually get a little bit more of an advantage than the Light Force overall does, but that is contingent on players specifically getting the kills on the creeps. Pull goes off on EMZE. Pikabar is unable to get the hammer as he's rooted. I don't think I've actually seen him get a hammer all game. And now Gudgeon's going to teleport in, try to put pressure on enemy and majstorIgre. Gudgeon's a little bit vulnerable himself. One more volley and he would die. And now enemy trying to use a repair to stay alive. Hellcat coming in, teleports out of the way. Hellcat actually didn't teleport out of the way, he teleported into enemy. And then majstorIgre taking a lot of damage from a gravity grenade and a main gun. Matslia is there to defend, but so is WildPants. Can they get the kill on majstorIgre's tower? Everybody's going to flee back before these shredders pull too many people in. And yeah, like I said, I don't think I've seen Pikabar get a single hammer off this game. Maybe it's happened and I just didn't see it in my field of view, but his strategy of Goblin Tank has been unsuccessful thus far. Pikabar has a teleport now. He doesn't have any more nets. Matslia pulls in WildPants. Both of them are going to flee from each other. WildPants does have a lot more DPS than Matslia does, and more hit points, and more powerful abilities. Matslia uses the extended repair kit. I think WildPants can still get the kill on him. A couple of more volleys. Matslia uses reinforcement to try to preserve himself, and he just dies and he loses the gold for the reinforcement anyway. Meanwhile, we have majstorIgre and Buchanator getting gravity grenaded. Buchanator is going to die, majstorIgre is going to die. They have 5-on-2 right now. majstorIgre is going to speed up this tower, but EMZE has a siege pack. They're going to get a build at this command post. It's a barricade, and WildPants is trying to take this bottom as well, so they're definitely going to get at least one of them. Matslia is present, pikabar is present. I think he is going to go down. Buchanator's the last guy left. EMZE's here. They do take this bottom command post, so this Dark Force will hold on to the top one, but bottom one is now property of the Light Force, and they are one command post away from holding all 6 and getting a bonus to the health of all their creeps. So if you're the Light Force, you do have the better abilities in a team fight. I'd probably just bring Gudgeon, or maybe try to have Gudgeon siege effectively enough to distract 2 people at once. And right now there are 3 people at this bottom. If they chase Gudgeon a little bit too far, pikabar teleports. They need to get back quickly because this command post is going to be pressured. majstorIgre building a laser tower, which is quite expensive, and that laser tower already taking a lot of damage. majstorIgre does die. That laser tower is only at about 25% health. And now it's going to go down further. EMZE spawning some mortar teams. So that's a 2,000 gold laser tower going down. This Dark Force really paying for chasing that kill on Gudgeon in the middle. They were way out of position for this attack. And now this command post is vulnerable. The only things left to build are the camouflage generator and the teleport beacon, neither of which are quite very vulnerable or very durable at all. Gudgeon still using the heavy tank to earn a little bit of gold from killing these towers. He has leveled up these mortar teams decently. He'll kill 1 tower. And then Gudgeon putting some pressure on majstorIgre. majstorIgre finally does have a orbital strike, and then Gudgeon's probably just saving up for an endgame tank. Otherwise he's going to have to sell a valuable slot. He does have that iron hull upgrade, which won't lose him too much value, but getting a quick Titan, which Gudgeon can do, that would guarantee that this game ends. Matslia is going to pull in WildPants. WildPants uses his energy bomb to kill majstorIgre. WildPants does have the teleport, and he might get the kill on Matslia anyway. He doesn't need to teleport out. Meanwhile, on the top we have enemy pikabar and Buchanator killing Nagurok. They might get the kill on EMZE. Will we finally see a hammer out of pikabar? Pikabar has to flee. Hellcat comes in. Hellcat has a lot of DPS himself. WildPants has even more DPS. They're going to run into a couple of mines and have to go back. Those mines, that looked like, yeah, just 2 mines, but hitting 2 tanks each. So they're going to have to go back and heal. Gudgeon continuing to siege with that heavy tank. If he can get another, if he can provide another distraction on Matslia and maybe another tank. Matslia is a little bit out of position. He's not dealing with Gudgeon, he's just kind of farming creeps. Pikabar, will we finally see him get a hammer? No, he uses his ultimate ability and goes back, playing it safe. Gudgeon's going to try to kill Matslia. Pikabar finally gets a hammer on Gudgeon, teleporting onto Gudgeon. He's going to have to flee though, and Gudgeon gets that kill, and Pikabar wastes his hammer and his teleport. And now it looks like WildPants has a siege pack of his own, and so a lot of these tanks have siege abilities. He does take a lot of damage from Buchanator. He's 1800 DPS as that shredder. It's a little bit vulnerable though, at only 8,000 hit points and no repairs, so in a fight like this with many players, he has to be very careful about how he pulls players. Gudgeon gets another kill on Matslia. Pikabar, does he have his teleport? It's off cooldown. Pikabar is being slowed by running into his own creeps a lot right now. He does have nets. He doesn't have much follow-up DPS, however. So that strategy of camping at the command post, while it did occupy Hellcat for a long time. Once he kept doing it in the mid game, and once those nets weren't working, he did lose a lot of farm he could have gotten. Can they get a pull on WildPants? WildPants does have a teleport. He gets netted, and pikabar doesn't have the DPS to follow through, but fortunately Matslia pulls him in. However, Buchanator does die, and let's see, EMZE spawns some mortars. They're going to try to kill this last remaining laser tower defending these two front factories, the middle factories, and we might start seeing factories fall. Gudgeon saving up a lot of gold at 47 minutes. He could even Goliath at 50 minutes if he wanted to. Maybe Titan at 55. EMZE gets a kill on Buchanator. Pikabar has to flee. Enemy's going to come in with his ultimate ability. Just drop a defensive mine. He has to flee out of the way. WildPants has spawned a couple of mortars. One more volley and that factory will go down. Now they're putting work on this second middle factory. They get a couple of volleys off and take that factory down to half health. So I think this Light Force is content to siege and to save. Buchanator gets gravity grenaded. WildPants comes in with the flame strike to finish him off. Then pikabar gets acid clouded, so we can't pursue a Nagurok. And then WildPants gets unit teleported by Matslia. Second factory goes down for the Dark Force, and this laser tower is now down as well. So these two, and so is this rocket tower. So now these two bottom factories are vulnerable. Pikabar finally had some DPS in the form of poison magic. I don't think anybody's really saved. Hellcat has a little bit of gold. Actually, 5,000 is a lot to have saved up at 49 minutes. Gudgeon with 11,000 already. He gets killed by Pikabar. Pikabar might pay for that with his life. Nagurok kind of missed the acid cloud there. He didn't miss the main gun though, and he is able to get the return kill on Pikabar. And let's see if WildPants has some mortars. He does have the advanced troop command now. He's going to spawn those troops. They get a kill on Matslia. And those troops are going to put in work on those factories, as are WildPants' weapons. Let's see if he and Nagurok can get a kill on a factory or two. Matslia has a tech mech that's a little bit vulnerable as well. Third factory is down. Pikabar comes in with a net on WildPants. He gets another hammer off. Does he have his ultimate ability? He doesn't have enough mana for it, I think. And WildPants is able to teleport away. Gudgeon's coming in at the top. Let's see if he gets a position to spawn the mortars. He does. He's going to have to use a hail of bombs to clear out those creeps. They also do a little bit of damage to the towers, and now Gudgeon is sieging at the top. Hellcat and Gudgeon have a lot of gold saved up, and I don't think anybody on this Dark Force really has any gold. Buchanator is able to get a kill on Gudgeon. Enemy has pretty much no gold. Matslia has no gold. I think majstorIgre has no gold. Yeah, so this is a lost game, definitely. If they don't lose the actual base quickly, they are going to lose once Gudgeon and Hellcat get tanks. Buchanator barely able to get a kill on Nagurok. EMZE kills him in return. And we have 3 factories down, 4th factory almost down. EMZE teleports out of the way of Matslia. WildPants is a few seconds away from spawning another wave of troops. Gudgeon's going to come in on this bottom here and finish off this factory. Maybe deal some damage to these last 2 towers before the headquarters while he's at it. And WildPants spawns some more troops. They're probably going to kill off these 2 towers and render these factories vulnerable. Matslia does come in. He's going to try to use some abilities. Gudgeon comes in with the teleport to ward off Matslia. So they aren't able to make much progress on the siege there. They're able to get a kill on Buchanator out of that exchange. Stray hail of bombs goes off from Gudgeon. And then Pikabar get its kill on the top. They could have maybe taken that opportunity, and I think they will if they can get the build here. majstorIgre is able to get the build, and they have a pretty decent position if they can just kill all of these players one by one. Nagurok gets a gravity grenade on 2 people. They are going to kill Pikabar, they're going to kill majstorIgre, and yeah, they are going to hold this command post. And maybe they'll even take the last command post as well. There's a build present from Pikabar, but it is a 4-on-1. And then WildPants comes in with a bunch of troops. Hellcat's going to build a laser tower. majstorIgre comes in. I don't know if he even has any abilities active. He dies. And that's the last command post. So I think this Dark Force really should give up at this point. Gudgeon with 17,000 gold. Hellcat taunting Pikabar finally did build that laser. Yeah, they have too much gold saved up. And nobody on this Dark Force is saving up any gold. Gudgeon's going to tank. Is he going to Titan? Yeah, 52-minute Titan. Extremely early. And he has a full inventory. Wonder if Hellcat did the upgrades for him. Hellcat had a lot of gold himself. Yeah, Hellcat did. Changed to a distributor. Nagurok gets a couple of kills. In comes Gudgeon with the Titan. Gudgeon's going to plant an obelisk. He's going to miss the orbital strike. If he has his R ability, he does use it. He's going to get the kill on Pikabar, deal a lot of damage to these towers and these factories as well. And yeah, the Dark Force finally gives up. Excellently played there by the Light Force. Good game, everybody. Titan music out.